Welcome. Y'all know what it is. This is not a podcast. It is just my thoughts with Markman. You know, we all know on Friday, May 17th, CNN released the 2016 hotel surveillance footage of Sean Diddy Combs physically assaulting Cassie, beating her. It was tough to watch. It was terrible. And so we're going to talk today about the fallout. Peloton has announced that, or the musical fallout, because there's many fallouts and we're going to get to it, but the musical fallout. Peloton has announced that they're not offering Diddy's music in their classes anymore. And, I have some questions about what that means for the future of the music, because, that's what I do. That's what I analyze best, is the music industry. This is not to gloss over the fact that there are real victims with real lives here who are suffering real consequences, real scars that they have to contend with. But we'll just go through the order of events, right, real quick, and then get into it. So on Friday, May 17th, CNN released the footage of Diddy assaulting Cassie viciously in the hotel lobby. What was shown in that footage matched the description from the allegations that Cassie laid out in her 2023 civil lawsuit, where she accused him of rape, years of physical, mental, and sexual abuse. Diddy settled that lawsuit very quickly, within less than 48 hours. And even after the settlement, his lawyer denied the claims, right? His lawyer said that a decision to settle a lawsuit is in no way an admission of any wrongdoing. Diddy had denied the claims at the time, the enough is enough post. And except now we have video evidence. Now we've seen it. Video is terrible. It's sickening. According to the suit, he had already blacked her eye inside of the hotel room. And when she tried to escape, that's the part that was caught on camera. He kicked her, pulled her, threw a vase at her. Y'all seen the tape. I don't think anybody should repost the footage. I think it's important that we see the footage. CNN releasing that footage, I think, was very important. But every social media site, every vlogger, every live streamer doesn't need to repost that footage. We saw it. And then the suit alleged that Diddy paid $50,000 to have the footage turned over to him. On Sunday, Diddy apologized on Instagram, apologized for his behavior, and he pledged to be a better man. Again, an apology for something he denied at first, right? He said, "I take full responsibilities for my action in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now." He didn't mention Cassie by name. As we now learn, he legally can't. Part of their settlement was that they couldn't mention each other by name. He also said he wanted to therapy and rehab, which I hope is true. I question the sincerity of the apology, but I hope that part is true to prevent future people from getting hurt. Who knows? Cassie's attorney said in the statement on Sunday, Combs' most recent statement is more about himself than the many people he hurt. When Cassie and multiple other women came forward, he denied everything and suggested that his victims were looking for a payday, that he was only compelled to apologize once his repeated denials were proven false, shows his pathetic desperation, and no one will be swayed by his disingenuous words. Lawyer hit it right, nail on the head. That is the general consensus. And then the LA County DA said they were aware of the tape. They seen the tape, but because it occurred in 2006, they're unable to charge him. The statute of limitations appear to be up, which also factors into why Cassie filed the lawsuit and not the criminal charges. And of course, there are several other lawsuits and, alleging similar abuse, similar sexual crimes, and other illegal activity. One of the biggest hip hop artists ever, just a disgusting video, disgusting behavior. And you got to believe there'll be more fallout. You have to believe there's more victims. So TMZ reported today that Peloton, via its private members' Facebook page, said that they are removing all of Diddy's music from all future workouts. The fitness company stated, I'll read it. They said, "We take this issue very seriously and can confirm Peloton has paused the use of Sean Combs' music, as well as removed the Bad Boy Entertainment Artist series on our platform. This means our instructors are no longer using his music in any newly produced classes. Again, thank you for sharing your concerns and thank you for being a member of our Peloton community. And this was in response to a message that read, "Dear Peloton, your next purge needs to be all Diddy classes, signed women everywhere." Now, and I can't stress this enough, with all of the conversation, with all of the fallout for this, that we will continue to have during the weeks, the months, however long it takes, the number one concern, the number one thing that everybody has to keep in mind is that there are victims here who live with these scars forever. Cassie will live with these scars forever. Possibly, likely, very likely, there are more victims here. In an interview with Piers Morgan, a former Diddy bodyguard by the name of Roger Bonds claimed that Puff was also physically abusive towards his children's mother, the late Kim Porter. And again, there's probably others that we don't know, others who have lawsuits out there. So nothing is more important than the victims. But with Peloton being the first platform to silence Diddy's music or suppress Diddy's music, it raises an interesting question if other more traditional streaming platforms will follow suit, right? In 2018, Spotify pledged to remove R. Kelly from all of their owned and operated playlists and its algorithmic recommendations like Discover Weekly. His music, of course, is still available. You can go listen to R. Kelly if you want. They just won't promote it. But, outside of that, the truth is that just in society, you'll be hard pressed to hear any of Kelly's music anywhere, right? Not on radio, and not many DJs at a party. How many parties have you went to? Clubs, backyard barbecues, wherever. Like, people are just not playing R. Kelly's music anywhere. You just don't hear it. And, R. Kelly had a huge catalog of music that's performed, records that he's performed, records that he's written for others and produced for others. And, of course, this is like, the more his music gets played, the more he can profit, So it's like, we don't want to support an abuser, right? Like, no matter how great your music is, no matter how great your art is, supporting that music in a way empowers these individuals. Puff is able to do this because of the money and the power and the fame that he has. So you kind of get that part of it. But so the question is, could his catalog be next? And what about Diddy's production catalog? Songs that he produced but didn't appear on. Of course, he had his own albums. But, what about bad boy artists? What about the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, 112? What about the Lox? Do the Lox not perform Benjamins anymore? What about Mary J. Blige's early catalog? Puff oversaw her first two albums. What about the careers of those artists that work so hard? They work hard to build their own careers too. And they have talent as well. It's just not Puff, right? So it's an interesting dilemma. If you remember last year too, Puff started signing back the publishing over to his artists. He had most of his artists publishing, and he started assigning the rights back to the artists. Was it because he knew all this was about to come to a head? Like Cassie, before Cassie filed the lawsuit, he knew it was coming. He knew there was a complaint coming. Did he realize the publishing would start to lose value? I'm not sure, but that's an interesting question. And, he gives the publishing back to the artist. But ultimately, if the catalog gets suppressed and silenced in some type of way, that publishing is worth less. So that's an interesting thing to ponder. And because the statute of limitations on many of these cases are over, like, how does justice get served, right? Lawsuits are a form of justice. I know a lot of people ridicule Cassie and ridiculing others was like, well, why is this a civil suit and not a legal suit? Lawsuits are a form of justice. You know what I'm saying? Puff's legacy is stained, it's tainted now. You don't get to do this and have it come to light in 2024 and go around with your legacy intact. There's no more Lifetime Achievement Awards. There's no more, we just did the Bad Boy maybe 30-year anniversary, or maybe that's coming up this year. Whatever it is, there's no more anniversary celebrations. I don't know if we have a conversation about Diddy again with his abusive behavior doesn't precede any musical conversations, and again, rightfully so. Like, that's part of the punishment. I don't have an answer if Diddy's music should be silenced or not, right? I'm going to admit I'm a big fan of his music. Notorious B.I.G., one of the greatest rappers of all time. I'm from Brooklyn. Like, so what that catalog means to me. The Benjamins, one of the greatest records of all time. When I got married, my wedding song was a 112 song. These are just the soundtracks to our lives, right? But again, what's more important here is that the victims who have to live with these scars forever, or is it some songs that we like? So clearly, look, man, rhetorical question. Our humanity says it's the people who will suffer from the abuse. That's what's most important. As far as the music, we'll have to wait and see, you know, and see if there's like this continued precedent of what happened with R. Kelly, because the R. Kelly case set a hell of a precedent in the music industry, a precedent which many people in the industry were against, a precedent which may cause us to go back and look at other artists in the past who still enjoy their legacies intact despite their abusive behavior, right? There's artists from the 80s, from the 70s, from the 60s, from the 50s, who have done these things, and do we go back and re-examine everything? Did they skate off on that? Did they get to have their legacies intact because it was a different time? I don't know. And right now, this isn't even about them, right? Right now, this is about Puff. Like, literally, Puff is under a microscope. Literally, like, in real time, we're figuring out, how do we deal with this? What's the fallout for this? And how do we get justice for these victims? That, I don't have all the answers. I don't know, but this is a conversation that we're having in real time, and I want to have it with y'all in the comments, of course. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know we be in there talking and commenting all the time. So let me know what you think in the comments. We're gonna have this discussion as this thing proceeds. Maybe we'll continue it. We'll probably continue it. But until then, peace.